Very good evening, friends. We'll start today's session with continuation of the chapter, the examination of the patient from the Stuart Close. Since last two lectures, we are discussing regarding this Stuart Close aspect of looking towards the examination of patient, and he has tried his level best to explain the importance of symptomatology in the case taking, in the examination of patient. And he explains there are two varieties of symptoms. From modern point of view, the symptoms are always the common on the basis of which the diagnosis is done are important. From our point of view, they are only important for the purpose of knowing what name or what is the diagnosis, but they are not at all useful for finding it out the right remedy. What are more important for us are the symptoms which are subjective in nature and which are responsible, with which we are easily individualize the patient. So subjective plays a very vital role in our case taking as compared to the objective. Objectives gives us diagnosis, which is useful for finding it out, auxiliary line of treatment, to know the prognosis, to understand the pathophysiology of the disease, but not for the purpose of therapeutics. And this is the difference. If you know, then you will definitely look for certain symptoms which the patient narrates with his very expressions. So whatever the symptoms patient narrates, you have to be very watchful, careful to catch what the way he presents. Every symptom which he tries to express has its own meaning. And that's what he wants to explain. So we'll start with next paragraph on page number 170, last paragraph, in fact, we'll start over there. It follows, therefore, in our special examination, that we should at once endeavor means to work for, prayatna karne, at once endeavor to put ourselves upon such a footing and in such personal relation to the patient as will best favor a full, frank revelation by him of all the circumstances and conditions that have led up to his illness, and an equally full, simple, frank statements of his sufferings as they seem to be him. The problem is here largely psychological. It is well, in some cases, to briefly explain to the new patient the special purpose of homeopathic examination and to point out how it differs from ordinary examination, especially including the mental, subjective symptoms and certain conditions that are usually ignored. So, see, here he tries to explain the difference between the ordinary case taking and the homeopathic case taking. In the ordinary case taking, the basic theme is that the way patient narrates in a vague manner is sufficient to come to the conclusion from what the patient is suffering from. For example, patient comes and he is having pain in right hypochondriac region with a characteristic stitch over there, and he complains that, doctor, I am having pain over there. You may think in that direction, pain in right hypochondriac region might be cholecystitis, might be gallbladder calculi pain, or it might be anything. These are the vague symptoms, but you cannot reach to the remedy. You cannot come, yes, this is chelidonium. You cannot, because symptom is not that characteristic which will define the remedy. And people are familiar with the ordinary case taking. This is quite common. Ordinary case taking is quite common. Everyone just ask, what's your problem? And patient, I'm getting pain in abdomen. Finished. Patient is examined. They just put the hands on over the abdomen. They do all things. Then they ask, you go for USG. USG suggests nothing, and they just give antispasmodic. But this is not homeopathy. In homeopathy, we have to find it out what exactly the history we require. And that's why he explains, for that purpose, you have to tell in brief to the patient before case taking that what is the purpose of case taking in homeopathy, which are the symptoms which you will going to get and which will be helpful for that patient. So you have to ask all the details and importance of those details in homeopathic case taking and homeopathic therapy that you have to tell to the patient. If you are able to tell him at first, and if you gather together the whole symptomatology of the case, then it is quite easy for us to reach to the right remedy. If we have at least 3-4 characteristics in the characteristic symptoms or complete symptoms in your case, that will definitely guide you towards some individuality. And this is the difference between the ordinary case taking and homeopathic case taking. Ordinary case taking requires common symptoms, the vague language. Homeopathic case taking requires a special uh, attention to look towards the location, the sensations, the modalities, the concomitant. Everything is important from homeopathic point of view, and the way patient narrates, that is also important. The very expressions of the patient gives you his individuality. So every patient comes to your OPD in a different ways. Someone talks very loudly, someone talks very mild tone. That is also one important thing which gives you an individuality of that person. And those are the things which guides you towards the specific remedy, not the common symptoms of the disease. And if you are able to know this, then your remedy becomes very easy to come to right remedy. What he says over there, we must first gain the patient's confidence and relieve him as far as possible from sense of restraint and embarrassment. This sentence one must know. First, you take a confidence of the patient, and that depends upon how you communicate with the patient. Most important thing, the way you communicate matters a lot. So how will you, what matters? How will you gain the confidence of the patient to start with the case? So that patient will going to narrate each and everything. So what you are going to do? We'll just take a practical examples. Any idea? To start with the case, how will you gain the confidence of the patient? What you have to do? Or what you will going to do? How will you start communicating? Any idea? Anyone? No one? Whatever your thoughts are there, those are very important. Important for. In homeopathy, we require a very good communication skill. Most important is the communication skill. Without that, you cannot get a right totality or complete case. To start with the case, this confidence should be gained. So how will you start with the case? It is not fixed formula, but at least some things which will guide you. Yes, with this approach, I can get certain confidence of the patient. Yes, let the patient make friendly. First start with casual talk. Very good. Any example of it? Yes, Dr. Simran?
Sir, we should be very much friendly with the patient,
Hmm.
and we should allow him to talk more and more rather than interfering in between with the patient.
Hmm. But whatever you are saying is very correct. But my suggestion to what he is saying, we must first gain the patient's confidence. Before starting the case, you have to gain the confidence of the patient. How will you, what
Sir,
you
we
will,
should be very much friendly with the patient. मतलब we should have a very good communication like how are you and मतलब जैसे हम लोग अपने कोई रिलेटिव अगर घर पे आता है तो हम लोग कैसे उनको ट्रीट करते हैं.
very good, or correct. The first important thing, any patient who comes for homeopathic consultation, yes, greet with smile. That is very good. That is the most important thing. Yes, There should be a big smile on your face. That is a very important thing. Without smile, you cannot communicate. But what is the first thing with which you start? You cannot start. What is your name? Name comes later. Yes, smiling there, greeting him. One more point. Anything else?
सर
First,
एनीथिंग लाइक हाय हेलो और इफ मतलब सम रिलीजियस हम लोग जैसे अगर कोई पेशेंट ऐसा आता है जो रिलीजियस है तो उसको रिलीजियस टाइप ऑफ टॉक करके बात करने का, जैसे गुड मॉर्निंग गुड गुड इवनिंग ऐसे बोलते हैं, वैसे हम लोग जैसे आई एम सिंधी तो वी कैन स्टार्ट विथ जय श्री कृष्ण एंड एवरीथिंग, तो like that wise the
very
patient will think yeah.
good. Or anything else? Yes, whatever you are telling is very correct. We start with what is the problem. Kirti, this is the next question. How is life going on? You cannot ask the patient at the start, how is the life going on? No. First patient question is there in our mind, how this patient has reached to you. So first you have to give smile and you have to say namaskar, namaste, whatever it may be. That should come right from here. It should come originally from your heart, not from your intellect. So it should be whatever. Patient is Hindi, namaste. Patient is Marathi, namaskar. But that should come right from bottom of your heart. That's the first thing with which. And patient sits in front. You have to say yes. Just sit over there. And then what is the next question? How do you reach to me? How do you reach to me? Why? Or second important question, what she has said, yes. What's your problem? And second question, how you reach to me? That is more important. If it is there, then patient says, yes, such and such patient who is your patient who has sent me to yours. Second, so there are different replies which which you can come across. But that is the key with which you have started the communicating. Then question arises, if he reached to you for a chronic problem, he always comes with file. You have to ask him, just give that file towards you. Go through that file, at least overlook that file internally. At least show that you know something about that. Never show that query on your face. You should able to tell, yes, this is your problem. Okay, we'll do whatever best we can do, we will do. First important thing is that when you go through the records, the patient is observing you. Keep it in your mind. When you go through the records, patient always watches your face, and your face should show that you know what the patient is having. You have understood what the patient is having. So that is more important thing one must do whenever you are dealing with the chronics. That is related with chronics when I'm talking about. Because this is more important. Because patient has an habit of coming to the homeopathy at last after getting investigated and knowing that he cannot get result, complete cure, and then he reach to you. So everything is in his hand, and that's what you require for just to start with communication. So go through all reports and then, yes, will then explain him that you are going to, what is there in homeopathy, how will you going to treat him, how much time does it require, how much cost it will require. That is also one of the important thing. You should be a professional regarding those things. That is my suggestion. You should be professional. It is not that you have to spend 1 hour, 1.5 hours with the patient. Time is very important. Time is money for you. So you should be able to tell him, yes, this is the cost you have to pay, and this is the way in homeopathy we require a detailed case. You are understanding. You have to tell him that for this diagnosis, even though there are 10 patients, everyone's remedy comes to be different. So that's why we want all details about you. And I will require the whole information about you. If it is possible today, we'll do it today. Otherwise, take the appointment of tomorrow. Do come at that time. I will spare 1.5 hours and then we'll have a case taking. Discuss all those things. And if you are confident in your speech, patient gains the confidence. Patient gains confidence about you. So this is too important. How do you deal with the patient to start with the case? In the first communication, that is more important. And this is what he wants to explain. Yes, we must first gain the patient's confidence and relieve him. That is more important. The patient comes to you with lot of stress in their mind. There is one habit of many practitioners. What do? They frighten the patient. They never explains what would, but they explains the complications to the of the disease to the patient instead of relieving him from his the stress. They increases their stress. So if the patient is there in front of you, you should make him release. Don't worry, I'm there. We'll do it. You have to explain him. Yes, patient comes to me with cancer. I used to tell, yes, don't worry. Will have a time. I will explain each and everything. Don't worry at all. You explain him. If I'm dealing with avian case, I explain, yes, I have nearly about 419 cases of avian. Don't worry. I'm treating them and all of them are doing well. You explain them. That gives the confidence. Yes, then he gets released. I'm in right place. So very important thing. We must first gain the patient's confidence and relieve him as far as possible. Very important sentence. As far as possible. From the sense of restraint. Restraint म्हणजे काय? Self-control. Otherwise, patient will not going to tell you all things. He keeps certain things restrained. Keep it inside. He will not detail you all the things. If you don't get those details, you cannot reach to the right simile. So patient should be free enough to tell you each and everything. Patient should come out of that restraining himself. That is more important. And embarrassment. Embarrassment means gondhal, a jumbled state of mind. He is always in a stress before communicating to you. Because he is in lot of queries are there in their mind because the stress is there. They are not getting cured with allopathy. They have reached to the Ayurvedic, they have not got the result, and then big question is there whether I will get some help of homeopathy. That question is there. That embarrassment is always there, and you are new for him. So those things you have to bring that patient out. So first sentence of this para is having a lot of meaning. We must first gain the patient's confidence, relieve him as far as possible. As far as possible from the sense of restraint and embarrassment. This is favored in general way by calm, dignified, but at the same time quiet and sympathetic manner on the part of examiner. The demeanor, confident, demeanor म्हणजे वर्तणूक, your behavior, demeanor confident, but not pompous. Pompous म्हणजे pompous is a rubric. Importance feels is pompous. Importance feels is pompous. तुम्ही खूप great आहात. You are too great. Don't show it that you are too great. Pompous. Simple and direct, but not aggressive. It should be simple and direct, but not aggressive. Your behavior should not be aggressive. It should be cheerful, but not flippant. Flippant शब्दाचा अर्थ आहे असभ्य, चाइल्डिश, बालिश, not ethical. It should not be flippant. Serious, but not grave or funereal. Funereal means udas. Grave, but serious. You should be serious about his disorder. He should feel that you are having interest in treating him. That is more important. That should be there in your demeanor. That is very important word. The way you behave with the patient matters a lot. In fact, that is the most important indirect effect of it on the patient. This is most important. That is the first important dynamic entity works on the patient. And this is what he is explaining. This is favored in general way by calm and dignified. Dignified means your work is dignified work. You are doing a job of doctor, physician. It is dignified. You should behave like that. Everything, whatever right from the way you uses your language, the way you sit, the way you dress, the way you look, everything matters, because that gives a patient confidence, that because of which patient becomes confident about you. And that's why it should be calm. First, whenever patient enters, you should be calm enough. You should be very dignified, but at the same time, quiet and sympathetic manner on the part of examiner. You should be sympathetic. Sympathy, patient never comes for you to, no, he comes to you only for, not only for just medicine, he expects a sympathy from you. Most important pathy on this earth is sympathy, not homeopathy, not Ayurveda, not allopathy. It is sympathy, because everyone requires that. Very occasional peoples never like sympathy. Sympathy aversion to, which is the remedy? Aversion to sympathy.
Natramur.
Netramure, in whenever weeping, he never likes. But in general, sympathy aversion to. Never likes sympathy. If you open Borix Matramedica, I am sure that it is given in Sabal Cerulata. They never like sympathy at all. They hate sympathy. That is very typical. Otherwise, the rest of the people generally they like sympathy. That sympathetic tone on the part of doctor or physician is very important. The way you talk. If you ask question, what is your problem? No one will going to tell you the problem. Your tone matters a lot. It should be proper in. The way you present, the way you utter sentences is very important. Yes, in Sabal Cerulata dislikes sympathy. That is the symptoms in Boric Matramedica. So your every word matters a lot. And that's why he explains over there, it should be sympathetic manner on the part of examiner, a demeanor confident. Your every behavior, it should be confident. You should look confident. Yes, when you are dealing with the cancer, when you are dealing with any pathology, you should be confident. Yes, don't worry. In homeopathy, we'll have the solution, we'll fight with it. This is too important. This is too much important. But not the pompous. There is one rubric, importance feels is pompous. There are people who tries to show you they are very great. It should not be like that. It should be confident but not pompous. Simple and direct, but not aggressive. Simple and direct means you should tell them freely whatever is there. You should explain them their disorder. It should be so simple. It becomes very easy. If you know the things properly, you can explain it in simple words. And for that purpose, knowledge is so important. So you can explain each and everything. Every patient, there are many questions patient used to ask you. You should be able to explain or answer them. This is too important. So simple and direct, but not aggressive. It should not be aggressive. Aggressive means it should be, your words should not be harmful, not even to the patient and not even to the doctors from whom he has taken the treatment. This is too important. Keep it in your mind. Don't blame other doctors. Many people have that habit. They blames other doctors. This is wrong thing. You don't know if that patient would have come to you at that specific time, you might have done the same thing. That's why don't blame anyone. It should not be aggressive. You should just go. It should be simple. Tell them if they blame the others. Tell them that what we have to do is just we'll find it out right solution. Don't consider what has happened to you. Start with start today and start with the treatment. So it should not be aggressive. Cheerful. The word is very important. It should be cheerful. Make a habit of making small jokes, but jokes on yourself, not others. That is more important. But that makes the whole environment happy, cheerful. Cheerful, but not flippant. Flippant means childish. So your behavior, your whatever joke you are creating, that should have some talent behind that. Otherwise, don't make it. Serious. Yes, you should look serious, but not grave or funereal. Very important thing. It should not be grave on the part of patient. You should be serious enough regarding his disorder, but he should not look that yes, it is too dangerous, your disease, how can I will handle, or the if you go going on telling all those things to the patient, he will never return to you. He said the doctor doesn't have the confidence, how he can treat me. We should try to put the patient at his ease by adapting ourselves to his personality and mood. This sentence we'll discuss in tomorrow's, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be no session of Organon. We'll meet on day after tomorrow. And on that day, we'll discuss this last sentence because it has a lot of meaning. So that will keep as it is. The last sentence that we should try to put the patient at his ease by adapting ourselves to his personality and mood. Yes, definitely we'll discuss that thing, those things. So that's all for today. We'll meet again at 8 o'clock with new remedy. That is from Borix Remedica, Biforana. So we'll discuss all the things regarding Biforana in today's session with a very good case of Biforana, so that you will understand the concepts of Biforana. Any query is there, we'll have a chat, otherwise we'll conclude. So thank
Hello,
you.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, if we don't want to give 50 millisiemen potency in water dose, then can we give one small globule
One sal
OD?
globule in a sugar of milk, daily 1 dose, empty stomach.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Good evening. We'll meet again at 8 o'clock. Thank you.